My name is Caroline Poynton from Bury, Manchester. I'm recording about the train attack, the terrorist attack, what happened. Another one again. It's a bit strange how there's been 3 within a few weeks. And it's not terrorists.
People should not be having to deal with this type of thing.
This morning, 10 innocent people stabbed on a train.
Most likely Christians.
We take the jizya from the non-Muslims. Oh my God, this guy deeply concerning. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with.
We're commanded to terrorize the disbelievers. And this is a religion, like I said.
Commanded to terrorize the
And the Quran says very clearly in the Arabic language, Torhibuna. Eventually, it will land on your doorstep, and you'll wish that you spoke out and stood up sooner and stopped being such a coward.
The future of America has to be Muslim. We're taking in exchange for your blood, for your life, concern.
To completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. They literally disappear from the hotel and into illegal organized splinter cells. Really, is this something that Christians shout? Trump's administration plans to ban Muslims from entering the US. And people need to start standing up and realizing that it's not hateful to be against hate.
A concern is maybe you're a bit behind on your bills, Kia. Not when you sat on a train when maniacs are coming at you and nearly taking your life, if not taking your life.
I've already told my family, my members, if they kidnap me, nobody should come to put one over.
As always, we have a lot of information to go through today. The Western
They're
world
lying
is
as
still
usual.
crumbling because of insane ideologies, and the political powers are bowing to the evil once again. Now, you probably already heard about the stabbing that happened yesterday on the train where 10 people were left critically injured. We're going to get deeper into that information. But what you probably didn't hear about was this situation right here, where allegedly a 25-year-old man was arrested near Faversham Station after threatening a mass stabbing at 8:30 p.m. yesterday, armed with a knife at a Breeze Meadow residence, shouting this. No surprises there then, but I'm pretty sure the mainstream media will leave out that core detail about his motivations. Apparently, there were no injuries reported, and armed police were deployed almost immediately. Now, regarding the Huntingdon situation, I'm going to show you some core details that were left out of the mainstream reports and people were urged to not speak about, to not even speculate about.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, though, Shabana Mahmood,
Mahmood.
right? She
Putting
says,
everybody in
I'm
the mood
deeply
again.
saddened to hear about the stabbings
She's
in
full.
Huntingdon. My thoughts go out to all those affected. 2 suspects have been immediately arrested and taken into custody. I'm receiving regular updates on the investigation. I urge people to avoid comment and speculation at this early
Cheeky bitch.
stage. Now, here's where the left's agenda really becomes, well, quite evident. Here's a tweet from this lady right here who is heavily leaning far left. She says, British monsters, most likely Christians. You see how much these people hate Christianity? They hate the West, they hate Christian values, Christian morals, and they are continually trying to divert your attention away from the real issues onto Christians. You know, innocent people who just want to have a happy, peaceful life away from these insane, vile ideologies. And yeah, this vile person has tried to label these people Christians. Well, let's analyze that claim a little deeper, shall we? According to Grok, this is the AI of X, of Twitter. Listen to this. Yes, multiple independent eyewitness accounts from Huntingdon train passengers shared promptly on X report that the attackers shouted this. Really, is this something that Christians shout? Do Christians normally run through trains with knives stabbing people? Is there anything in the Christian Bible from Matthew to Revelation that says that we should do such things? Spoiler alert, the answer is no. But anybody who doesn't just want to be a snowflake in 2025 can obviously admit that there is a specific ideology that continually shouts this before they follow the commands found in their book, which is that Christians and Jews and people who don't believe in Islam are apparently the worst of creatures. But let's keep reading, shall we? They were shouting this during the stabbings, allegedly. These consistent testimonies from users and others emerged uncoordinated, predating the official statements. Police haven't confirmed, but involve counter-terror units, suggesting the claims merit scrutiny beyond initial non-terror framing. So the police were very quick, and the mainstream media, to come out and say this is not related to terrorism at all, okay? Yet apparently counter-terrorism was involved. And apparently, according to eyewitnesses at the scene, according to Grok, the people who were doing the stabbing were shouting the typical Islamic statement before they do things, right? And it's just very sad. It's very sad what's happening in the West, and you see the left trying to divert the attention onto Christians. In fact, before we get even deeper into this, and I just show you how weird the framing is of this mainstream report, I want to show you something else. Christians across the world are being persecuted, and the world seems absolutely silent about it. And there's a reason for this. But recently, Donald Trump stepped in and said, if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast. Now, what I find very interesting about this is after Donald Trump posted this, there were hundreds of Muslim Twitter accounts saying that there are no Christians getting persecuted in Nigeria. It's just unbelievable. It's insane. But the deeper I dug into this well, situation, I started to find Nigerian Muslim Twitter accounts. And these are the types of things that they're saying. Nigerian Christians are the problem, and they're enemies of, well, their false God, their Islamic God. You know, this is what they believe. They hate Christians in Nigeria. And at the same time, in Europe, we have Muslims entering churches and doing things such as this. These people are demonic, evil. Yeah, that's what the West has allowed in, okay? The West has allowed in an ideology that hates life and they love death according to their own confession, according to their own ideology. They hate life and they love death. And that's what's happened. And if you thought it couldn't get any worse, take a look at this. An imam in the UK says that non-Muslims should start paying jizya like they do council tax so Muslims won't take their blood. After reading about Islamophobia in The Guardian. Oh man. And you know, for anyone thinking, oh, maybe Tommy Robinson's exaggerating here, here's the imam's own words.
So again, jizya, we start saying like this, like that. There's no need. And just to clarify as well, yes, jizya is taken from the non-Muslims. We take the jizya from the non-Muslims, the combatants, the enemies of Allah and His Rasul, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in exchange. And when we say like tax, it's not like a council tax or road tax that you're paying. You understand? And I'll get to that point as well. Is we're taking in exchange for your blood, for your life. You understand? We're taking in exchange for your blood, for your life.
Just look at his facial expression, how proud he is of saying such an evil statement.
We're taking in exchange for your blood, for your life. You understand?
You see, these people hate you. Why are these people not being deported? They are clearly spreading complete hatred. But if you have someone on the right, or just a conservative, someone who's not even leaning to the right when it comes to politics, they just literally have logic. Many people are labeled bigots and hateful just for pointing these things out. It's unbelievable. When you point out hate, it doesn't make you hateful. It makes you reasonable. It makes you rational.
We're taking in exchange for your blood, for your life. This is mentioned by the commentators of the Quran as well. The Mufassirin, they've explained, the Fuqaha have gone into detail. And why are we taking this is because you are a rebellion. You are rebellious against Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And because we have mercy, Islam has mercy, we're saying you pay the jizya. And again, we don't want to get into the discussion of how much and how much is stipulated, and the Fuqaha have explained this. But when you give the jizya to the Imam, the commander of the Mujahideen or whoever's in charge at the time, then what we guaranteeing you is a protection for yourself, for your property, for your family, for your children, and also we will fight off or fend off the enemy that attacks you. Let me give you an example. In 2024, last year, there was an article in The Guardian that said that just in the year 2024, Islamophobia, the rise of attacks against the Muslims in just that 1 year rose to approximately 73%. You understand? you pay road tax, you pay council tax, you pay this tax, bin tax, all these taxes, and they still can't give some sort of value to the Muslims. And what does Islam say? Jizya. We're saying we're not taking your blood in the battlefield, you're giving us jizya, and in exchange in jizya, what can happen is if an outsider attacks you guys, we're gonna protect you as well.
And the British people accept this. And speaking out against this is apparently Islamophobic. That's the framing of their argument, right? Anybody who criticizes Islam, anybody who analyzes it and sees the objective fallacies within their books is apparently Islamophobic. Anybody who points out that certain practices within their religion is not compatible with the Western world, with Christian values, Christian morals, is apparently Islamophobic or a bigot or not understanding. It's just ridiculous. These people tell you exactly what they believe, and many of the Muslims who would consider themselves moderates don't even understand their own religion. They don't even know what they believe in. If you show them it, they say, oh no, they have to go to a scholar. And then if you send them to a scholar, they'll say, oh, that scholar's probably wrong. We have to go to another scholar. And they're just avoiding the fact that they believe in a false book that is demonic, actually, that is completely antichrist according to the Bible, according to the Torah. It goes against the entire Old Testament. It goes against the New Testament. It is not from the true God. And it's just a wicked ideology. And allowing these type of people to preach this type of hatred and these types of ideologies in Britain leads to the type of atrocities that we witness happening across the Western world. And that's just a fact. It's objectively true. It's observable. There's statistics behind it. But no, when you have a tyrannical government in power, they will do anything they possibly can to point you away from the truth and divert your attention onto what they want you to think about it. You know, oh, British born people did something bad. Really? But what did they believe in? Was it British ideologies that they believed in? Clearly not, right? Now, I want to show you something very interesting from Ant Middleton, okay? He says, this is huge, and this is a massive claim that he's making here, by the way. He says, this is huge and life-threatening problem that no one knows about. The retention rate in these hotels are shocking. Once they've got their new IDs and have had a full NHS MOT and have been fed to the brim, he's talking about the migrants, right? The illegal migrants who are put up in hotels and different places. They literally disappear from the hotel and into illegal organized splinter cells. You see, this is a massive claim. And if what he's saying here is true, this is very, very dangerous, right? Very dangerous. So they disappear from the hotels and apparently go into illegally organized splinter cells, let's call them, across the country. And then once they disappear, their rooms are simply filled with more fighting aged males. They are self-governing and organized. You have absolutely no idea who is in and around and surrounding your communities. You are not safe, period. Great Britain has lost all control. Now, this man here, Ant Middleton, he is apparently going to run to be the next mayor of London. And I believe that he would be a far better mayor than Sadiq Khan, who is clearly an Islamist. It's quite obvious what he believes in. He puts Islam first over the country.
And why
The
would
same
King
with
Charles
Shabana
give him an
Mahmood. There's
8
literally
then?
confessions of her saying this, that she puts Islam
That's because
first.
he,
And then
because
people
he
wonder
changed his
why it's
religion.
possible for a police van to be set on fire by a man holding a Quran in Leeds, and the West Yorkshire police just stand by and do nothing, apparently. This is the same police force who violently arrested an autistic girl for saying a police officer looked like her nana. Pathetic. And here's the video of a man literally, allegedly setting a police van on fire whilst holding a Quran.
He won't do anything because of King Charles. Changed his religion, hasn't he?
What is going on? Honestly, what is going on? Yeah, but apparently you're hateful if you point this out. Apparently you're hateful if you point out that it's a Muslim doing it. But he's clearly proud of doing it in the name of his religion whilst holding up his own Quran, right? You're apparently hateful or a bigot or Islamophobic if you point these things out. It's unreal. It's unbelievable, honestly. Anyway, with that knowledge, here is how the mainstream media reported the train attack in
Didn't
Huntingdon.
very well, was it? They've lied
Good
again,
morning, ladies
covered
and
up
gentlemen.
again.
My name is Superintendent John Lovelace, and I'm here to provide you with an update on the incident at Huntingdon Station that took place here last night. It's a shocking incident, and first and foremost, my thoughts are with the family and friends of those who've been affected and those who are injured. At approximately 7:42 p.m. yesterday evening, there were calls to the police service in relation to multiple stabbings which took place on board a train service that departed Doncaster at 6:25 p.m. and was en route to London King's Cross Station. Officers immediately attended Huntingdon Station alongside paramedics, where armed police officers from Cambridgeshire Police boarded the train and arrested two
No, it
people.
still don't matter. They still don't want to put an end to it all.
Within 8 minutes of the 999 call being made, two men were brought into police custody, where they remain this morning. I can tell you that these are the first male, a 32-year-old male, a black British national, and a 35-year-old man, a British national of Caribbean descent.
So are they actually going to tell us these people's names? Are they
Nope.
going to tell us what they believe
Believe
in?
in.
What their ideological perspective
Are they going to
was?
give us a photo of
Were
what they look
Islamists?
like, who they
Did they
are?
have any quote-unquote religious motivation behind these
Have
attacks?
they known to the
Or are they
police?
going to hyper-focus on British-born to get people to think a certain way about this situation? It's very obvious why they frame things in a certain way. And yeah, I believe it's very manipulative, actually.
They were
Manipulative.
both arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. Both were born in the United Kingdom.
No, they wasn't.
As stated, they remain this morning
No, they wasn't born here.
in
Where's the
separate
proof and
police
evidence?
stations
Where's the birth
for
certificates?
questioning.
You see how
Questioning,
much
I'm
they want you
questioning
to
it.
focus on the fact that they was born in England.
That's
were
all they try to
British
focus on.
born.
They
They
don't
were
listen. Where's
British
the birth
nationals.
certificates?
Because they don't want you to actually
To
focus
think that
on
they're
what
an
they
immigrant.
possibly believed in. Maybe they didn't have British values. Obviously they didn't. Maybe they didn't agree with British culture. Maybe they don't believe in the Christian ideology. And they have a foreign ideology that contradicts the laws of this land. Are they going to tell us about that, maybe?
Nope.
Now, Yossi Ben Yakar tweeted the following: Yunus Abdullah Muhammad on what the Quran commands. And then he says, is this the religion of peace that we keep hearing about? In quotation marks.
We're commanded to terrorize the disbelievers. And this is a religion, like I said.
Commanded to terrorize the
And the Quran says very clearly in the Arabic language, Torhibuna. This means terrorize them. It's a command from Allah.
And people still don't get why they believe the way they do, or why they do the atrocious things that they do. And yeah, this word Islamophobia has just been lifted up as like a blanket to protect people from criticizing a bad ideology. Because that's what it is. You know, you have scholars from universities all across the world who have come to the conclusion that Islam is clearly objectively false because of the internal errors. But putting that aside, it's clearly immoral. It's objectively immoral. The morals found in the Quran contradict the morals found in the Bible. Yet they claim to believe in the same God, when the Bible explicitly tells us if anybody comes with a different gospel, they are accursed. They came with a different gospel. They are accursed. They don't follow the same God. They don't worship the same God. They're actually worshipping something very demonic. And you see this very
That's
clearly
well, that
from their
King
doctrine,
Charles.
from their fruits.
He's
It's
fucking
very, very
involved. He's
wicked.
changed his
And people
religion
need to
to that.
start standing up and realizing that it's not hateful to be against hate.
No.
It's not hateful to be against hateful ideas. It's actually loving to expose evil. It's loving to expose bad ideas. And people who speak truth should not be the ones getting persecuted.
Nope.
The people who are speaking hatred should be the ones getting arrested, should be the ones getting
Like the
tried.
government.
And that is clearly what these people are calling for. Could you imagine if a Christian was to say the same things? Obviously, they wouldn't, because the Bible doesn't teach that. But any religion in the world claiming that their God calls for them to terrorize unbelievers in their religion, and the people who then stand up and say, oh no, I don't accept that, that's a bad idea, that's a bad ideology, they're the ones who are being called Islamophobes. They're the ones who are getting a title, a label on them, as if they're the bad ones. It's very, very manipulative, psychological
shut
warfare.
people up, basically.
That's what that is. Meanwhile, apparently, Trump's administration plans to ban Muslims from entering the US. Do you support this? Yes or no?
Good.
Let me know
yes.
what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you think this is even true? Because I haven't come across any articles speaking about this in great depth. But it's definitely interesting. It seems that most people actually support this when you scroll through the replies. And Charlie Kirk, before he was sadly assassinated, actually tweeted this: Islam is not compatible with Western civilization. And that is obviously objectively true. And for any uneducated people who say, oh, how is that objectively true? Well, all you have to do is compare their Sharia, their laws, with Christian values, Christian morals, and the laws of the lands within the United Kingdom, the West, America, Canada, and you will see objectively that Islam is not compatible with Western civilization. It's not just some random statement that's being made, it's objectively verifiable. If you take a look at the Islamic laws, they contradict the Western laws. So yes, it is incompatible. And take a look at this, because this is very eye-opening for people who may not understand why the left is being used by Islamists.
Extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Would never do it. They'd give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades, and Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. They want them go speak about the climate, go speak about abortion, go do that. And Allah, she's fighting for abortion rights and all the other. My body, my choice. Yes, go do that. Go do that. But would she have an abortion? Never. Never. Would she kill a Muslim in her stomach? Never.
What is the fundamentalist and jihadi agenda for America?
The future of America has to be Muslim.
So they're telling you, they're literally telling you everything. It's open for you to see what they believe, why they behave certain ways, why they vote a certain way, why they lean a certain way ideologically, even though it contradicts their own ideas, because they know what weakness is, and they know weakness can be used. Weakness can be manipulated. Weakness, as he said, can be brainwashed. But people who have a stance in truth, who are grounded in truth, grounded on Christ, on his principles, on his morals, on the truth, it's very hard to brainwash someone like that. It would be impossible to brainwash me. Impossible. They would not be able to get me to believe in their insanity. But the left, they can actually fall for it. The left will walk side by side with them and cheer for their insane ideas whilst not understanding them. That's why you have to educate your friends. That's why it's very important to share these videos with your friends and family. Because right now, yeah, the United Kingdom is living under a very oppressive, tyrannical government that is continually diverting things away from the truth. But it's definitely not going to stay that way forever. There's going to be a massive, massive tidal wave of change. And the further that this current government pushes left and diverts away from truth, the more grounded and more motivated the next government is going to be when they get into power, in removing all the deceptions, in exposing all of the evil, and, well, bringing justice to this land. And it will happen. 100% it will happen. There is no way that this tyrannical government is going to get away with what they've done and what they're doing, with the cover-ups, with the confusion, with the psychological warfare that is continually taking place in mainstream media. Media is like a propaganda tool right now. It's insane. There's times when I've been at a family member's house and they've just had like the BBC playing in the background, and it's taken like 30 seconds for them to say something that's just utterly insane and untrue. This is really happening. But yeah, even when people can hear the Islamists telling you to your face what they believe, it's like, oh, but are you sure? Yes. Yes. 100%. 100% that's what they believe. Even if you go up to a moderate Muslim and you show them the Quran and you show them the most insane parts of their book and say, is this true? They'll say, yeah. Do you believe this? They'll say, yeah. They won't deny it, but they'll just try and say, oh, but they're not a scholar. Or you'll have to go and ask someone educated, because it's a form of deception. They're either very ignorant or they're willfully deceiving you. One of the two. And here are the brave Christians in Nigeria having their say about, well, take a look for yourself.
I don't know when I'll be the next, but for me, I've already told my family, my members, if they kidnap me, nobody should contribute one kobo. My grace will speak that will lead to Christian unification. That day is coming. I'm just waiting for them. Even I will tell them, please keep me quickly, because nobody will come. And if they call home, they will tell them our daddy covenant last week that we should never pay a couple. Please kill him, because my blood will be useful while I'm in the grave. We will fight to finish it. And I know Jesus has approved that for me.
Sadly, while Nigerian Christians are being slaughtered in Nigeria, there are Muslims in the left openly trying to persuade people that it's not happening, that it's not real, that they're not really killing Christians. It's unbelievable. It's insane. Whilst the Nigerian Muslims themselves will tell you that they are doing it to Christians. I mean, how much more insane can you be to deny the reality that is in front of you? That is the definition of insanity, right? Let's take a look. Defining insanity: extreme foolishness or irrationality. Exactly. When you have people in front of you telling you exactly what they want to do, and you say, no, that's not true. It's insane. It's foolish. That's extreme foolishness. It's insanity. It's extremely irrational. These people are crazy. They're literally insane. Let's have a look at what Liam Tufts had to say recently.
If you think it will never happen to you, you're wrong. If you think you're on the don't his daughter list, you're wrong. If you think you're on the don't stab him list,
you're wrong.
You're wrong. No one is exempt. Every British national's name has been thrown into the hat. And if you haven't been stabbed, or know someone that's been stabbed, or know someone that's been affected by, then you're one of the lucky ones. But it will come. Eventually, it will land on your doorstep, and you'll wish that you spoke out and stood up sooner and stopped being such a coward. Let's just have a little recap over recent events. This morning, 10
innocent people stabbed on a train. 2 men arrested, 9 people fighting for their lives. An army barracks in Crowborough, with a population of 20,000 people, is just about to house 600 illegal migrant men.
Why is King Charles not doing
And we
anything
saw
about any of it?
what
Because he's
happened
changed his
from
religion,
just
that's
one
fine.
illegal migrant man that come
Changed his
over
religion, he
here
advocated for
on
it all.
a lorry in 2020 in Hillingdon.
Yeah.
He stabbed the man 15 times. He slaughtered him in the street in
Yep.
broad daylight.
With his dog.
He murdered him and shattered his family. Then there's the bank murder in Derby. On my doorstep, Hayward's Heath, yesterday, a girl was raped in broad daylight by a migrant man. The stats are off the charts. The hotels are being flooded. They're now being shifted to HMOs. At least when you've got foreign men that are undocumented, we know nothing about, they're in hotels, but you know the hotels, so you tell your children to stay away from that hotel. When they're being shifted into HMOs, you don't know one HMO from the next.
Next.
We're walking amongst animals
Yeah.
that hate
Wild
us, that
fucking
want
wolves.
to kill us. You need to understand that. There is a solution. You stop the boats, you stop the benefits, you deport anybody that shouldn't be here, you empty the prisons of any foreign criminals, you send them back to where they came from. And it's not a case of being racist or prejudiced, it's national security now. That MI5 terror watch list should be an
And they get no
MI5
human rights when they've took
deport
people's
list.
lives away.
We don't want to be spending
Why
our
get
money
human rights?
watching people that potentially want to blow us up. We want them out of here.
There, get them out of here. Yeah, King Charles, do your job, King Charles.
Same. If you want to hate us, great. Hate us from afar.
And start
But not
protecting
on
your
our
people and your
doorstep, in the
country.
middle of us. You've got to
And your
start
faith and religion.
speaking out. Now you can't go out there and
Why don't you start being a Christian?
or enforce violence in public because you'll get sent to jail.
Yep.
Then they win. And you can't remain silent because you're scared of losing your job or being branded a bigot. And if you're protesting against people that are protesting,
This is why I sung
for the
King
national
Charles, mate.
safety and the protection of our children,
He's to do
and our
with it.
women, and our mothers, and our wives.
Yeah, he is.
You're
I'm not having
down.
AI and Google
You're
trying to
worse
tell me he's
than
not. He's changed his
themselves.
religion.
The migrants know no different. They were born and raised to hate us. Not all of them.
Not
But all
most of
it
them.
takes is 1 in 1,000. And I believe there's a lot more than that. And you know there's a lot more than that. Where's Keir Starmer this week? What has he said? The fucking plethora of atrocities that have been committed. All the blood on the streets of the UK that are now on his hands. He's responsible for this. He could put a stop to this any day he wants.
And he won't.
And the Tories, they open the door to that piece of shit. The government hate us. We need to.
And the king. The king hates us as well, mate.
We need to stand.
We should be having the king helping us deal with this.
If you're sitting on your armchair doing raving your face in the air, and you're not getting out there and putting your face and your name to what you believe in and what you do not want to happen to your community and your family, you're a coward. Rise up.
Not King Charles, he's a coward.
To sit back and admit defeat and let an ideology overtake ours.
Because he gives Sadiq Khan a fucking knighthood. What's he give Sadiq Khan a knighthood for?
Caring, civilised country. Or at least we were.
Or were?
We've become third world because we've allowed them in without any pushback.
And not just allowed them in, we'll fuck with food to fuck the country up.
Refugees welcome placards waving around in the air. It's insanity.
They've sold us out down the river.
Can you not see that? Come on.
And the royal family, King Charles
Do
and
it
Queen Elizabeth.
smart. Box. Clever. But you got to get on your feet. You can't sit on your couch watching no more and say, oh, there's no point having a social media platform with 1,000 friends if you're not going to put your face to the camera or at least type something out. I'm not happy with the current situation.
No,
I
I'm
don't
not.
feel safe anymore. This
No,
is a
neither do
dangerous
I.
place to live.
My little girl's not
my
safe.
children growing up in a country
She's been
where
wrongly,
second,
falsely
and
adopted
we're
by
not
pedo
considered.
services.
And we're so scared to
And I
speak
hold
out
King
against people
Charles
that hate us.
and all of
It's
the governments
insane.
and all
So
of
yeah,
them
let me know what you
responsible if
think
anything
about that
happens
in
to
the
her.
comment section below. Do you agree with Liam
Yeah.
Tubbs? I think he has some very, very good points there, to be honest. And I want to quickly show what this man had to say about the Huntingdon situation.
So Keir Starmer has said it's deeply concerning what happened in Huntingdon, Cambridgeshire on the train tonight, where 9 people are fighting for their life. Deeply concerning, is it? Not disgusting, not outrageous, not this shouldn't be happening. Where's the security for our people?
Oh.
No, it's deeply concerning.
And where's fucking King Charles?
A concern is
For his
maybe you're
Christian
a bit
people.
behind on your bills, Keir. A concern might be the cost of living, whether you can afford a bit extra food.
If you can afford food, because there isn't any. They've sold us out down the river, there's going to be a food shortage like there already has planned to be. That's why you can't find any fruit and veg shops anymore. They've sold us down the river to China.
When you're going home from work or you've had a day out for the weekend, is this guy with the real world?
And I blame King Charles just as much as all the governments. Don't forget about King Charles. They're involved just as much as the governments.
Are you from the real world?
Yeah, I am.
Oh my God, this guy deeply
He's not. Keir Starmer with the king. He's not fucking in the real world. And why would I was gonna say? And why would fucking King Charles give Sadiq Khan and I look what's just happened again under Sadiq Khan's watch? Under Sadiq Khan's watch. He's the Lord Mayor.
What's going on in the real world?
So why don't he sort something out, King Charles? Why is he Sadiq Khan and knighthood?
You disgust me.
And yeah, I agree with everything he said there. This guy, Keir Starmer, has no idea how to run a country. He is openly destroying the country. He has no relation to the everyday people. He just puts on this front. To me, he comes across as a complete sociopath. Somebody who lacks empathy, lacks care for the actual people of this nation. And he would rather just put his ideas, his ideologies above the truth, above freedom, above peace.
Yeah.
And it's just very sick at this point. It's just very, very sick. You know, according to a poll on Twitter, this person said, who else believes the attack on the train in Huntingdon last night was an act of terror? 96.6 people said yes. 1.1% people said no. And 2.3% of people said unsure. Yet, you know, people were told not to speculate.
Yeah.
Like, how can going through a train and just killing people not be an act of terror?
Terrorist.
How? When there were witnesses apparently saying that they were shouting what they were shouting, what you saw earlier in the video, whilst doing this thing. Anyway, let me know what you thought about this entire situation in the comment section below. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit that thumbs up button, as it's free for you to do and it greatly helps out the channel. This is footage of Huntingdon yesterday after the attack. And as you can see, there's a lot of people gathered around. A lot of police were called out very fast. Apparently they did deal with the situation within 8 minutes. So, you know, have to give respect where respect is due. and to deal with this as
It's probably not the
rapidly
police's
as
fault.
the police did is definitely a good thing. But at
It's
the
not
same
people's
time,
fault on the ground,
it
is it?
shouldn't even be
It's not
happening.
the actual
That's
people
the
that are
point.
looking on the ground. It's not their fault.
The British people should not be having to deal with this type of thing. But anyways,
They're just doing the job dealing with it on the ground.
yeah.
No, they
Remember to
shouldn't.
share
And
this
King
video
Charles
with
should
your
be coming
friends
out
and
and
family.
condemning it and making the government do
With
something
as many
about it.
people as you possibly can.
Exactly.
It's a
King
great
Charles
way
should
to
be condemning this,
in
and he should be
actively
trying to force the
doing
government to
something,
do
making
something
a
about it
difference.
when they have the
Like
when they
many
have
of
the
the
talk
people
with the
have
government
said
every
on
week.
social
Yeah.
media, don't just sit there
Yep.
and
King
not
Charles
do
talks to the
anything.
government.
If you have a voice, if you are
Yeah.
capable to speak
So
out,
why don't he say
do it.
something?
Even if it's just typing out, even if you're not somebody who wants to get behind the camera and speak, I recommend you do, because it's beneficial for society, for
Because
the
surely
world. The
that he's
more
got to
people that
think
stand
it's
up and
getting
speak
too
out,
much now for the
the more
people.
confident other people get to stand up and speak out. And change is coming either way, but it's definitely good to be on the right side of history. So I would urge every one of you to do so. But yeah, share these videos with your friends and family. If you want to support my content, various ways to do so in the description box below. I greatly appreciate all of your love and support as well. We've built such an amazing community over here in such a short period of time, which is truly awesome. So yeah.
I think we're going in the front of the plane now.
And as always, if you are somebody on the side of truth, definitely become part of this community. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you want to financially support this content creation, various ways to do so in the description box below. These videos take a lot of time and effort to research, edit, put together like this. And a lot of times in the past, the videos have been taken down or demonetized. So your financial support goes a very, very long way, and I greatly appreciate every one of you. Obviously, I don't respond to every comment, but I do read through them. So thank you so much for all of your kind words, your love and support. It is greatly appreciated. If you watched this far, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next one.
I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much from Caroline
Shalom.
Poynton in Bury, Manchester.